It's the Hump Day edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. It's Wednesday. It is December 17th. It's a week till Christmas Eve, 8 days till Christmas Day. And we've got a lot to talk about yet again today as we head out into the next week. All sorts of interesting weather to talk about. But in the near term, it's not that interesting. It's just colder today. It's blustery. And yeah, that's another sea of clouds covering the entire state of Ohio, all of western Pennsylvania. Boy, could we use some sunshine. May not see much at all until maybe Monday, if we're lucky. If Monday turns out to be cloudier than we think, it might be until after Christmas until we see any appreciable amounts of sunshine. But while we complain about this and might think it's unusual, it's not really that unusual. This is a really, really cloudy time of the year around the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. 32 is our early afternoon temperature in Youngstown. I remember yesterday we got to 50 in the afternoon, so it's quite a bit cooler today in the wake of our front. And as expected, we did have some flurries earlier on today. Those have since pretty much faded away. Now I was trying to spit a little bit on my way into work today. You might see a stray flake falling out of the sky. That is about it for the rest of the day. Let's look at those wind chills because, yeah, the wind is a factor. It feels like 21 here in Youngstown. So if you consider yesterday's high was 50, now it feels like 21. For all practical purposes, it's about a 30-degree change in how it feels outside this afternoon. Thankfully, we have lost the rain that we had yesterday. Well, we're going to stay in this chilly air mass for the rest of the week. It is now firmly entrenched across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. I'll show you the temperature trends here for this afternoon. Put the contours on here so it's a little easier to see where it's warm, where it's cold. Of course, all of these deep reds up here, that's where the heart of the cold is. And cool air is extended all the way down into the southeast today. It's down in the 40s in Dallas. Now, the Gulf Coast has yet to see the cold front, but it is pushing through as we speak, and that will cool off many areas in the south for the rest of the day today. As far as the radar goes across the country, one other trouble spot for the most part, and that is down here across Oklahoma and Texas. And they're seeing a chilly rain in Dallas and Oklahoma City this afternoon. The storm that has been on our radar for the weekend is still impacting parts of the southwest and the west coast. It's going to travel all the way across the country, and then the big question is, what happens with it? So why don't we talk about that? We'll look at the GFS model here. Now, if you remember, if you've been paying attention for the last couple of days, this went from a pretty decent-sized concern about accumulating snow over the weekend to more of a, oh, this is just going to be a nuisance kind of a thing, maybe a coating to an inch or two at most Saturday night. And now with the latest model trends, we're about ready to call this storm a miss completely. Here is Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Very weak area of low pressure. Actually, two lows if you want to analyze it this way. One dying here and one strengthening off the coast. A little bit of snow trying to sneak up I-77 through West Virginia early in the afternoon on Saturday. By Saturday evening, previous runs of the models brought this band of light snow up like this Saturday evening, Saturday night. Now, most of the modeling, if not all of it, is only bringing it up to maybe Pittsburgh, but even that might be pushing it. So, we're starting to really think this will probably be a miss for the Valley. So if you had travel plans late Saturday, Saturday night, early Sunday, it's looking better now. In fact, our weather looks pretty darn uneventful now through the weekend. This is Sunday afternoon with an area of high pressure up over Quebec and Ontario. It should be a somewhat decent day. And maybe even we see a little sun second half of the weekend, maybe. All right, if you saw my Facebook and Twitter posting this morning, the weather looks very interesting as we get close to Christmas. Now, since the weekend storm is a miss, if we're going to get a white Christmas, it's got to be right around Christmas. And if that's what you're wishing for, you may just get your wish. Now, first things first, it's going to warm up. This is Monday afternoon. The setup here, low off the coast, but this is another low just off the screen here across the Midwest, and a pretty good southerly flow developing out ahead of that, and that'll make for a windy and mild Monday night. It'll be rain Monday night. Heading into Tuesday. Tuesday's the 23rd. It'll be liquid precipitation because it'll be mild. But then Christmas Eve, this is when things really start to get interesting. Now, this is Christmas Eve morning, the morning of the 24th. This low is really going to start cranking somewhere around here. Now, some of the modeling has the center closer to here in the morning. Latest run of the GFS has it over west central PA. But either way, it's going to make for a windy Christmas Eve. And depending on the exact track, that'll that'll kind of determine when we go from liquid precipitation over to snow showers. If this track were to be believed, it would be raining in most of the valley first thing Christmas Eve morning. Excuse me. But then by the afternoon, a lot of people travel Christmas Eve. This would kind of be bad news for the afternoon, with the low really cranking up. We're talking 969 millibars here, up over Niagara Falls in Toronto. If this were to be believed, if this were exactly right, in other words, we would see a changeover to snow Wednesday afternoon, Christmas Eve, and that could lead to some modest accumulations and maybe some travel headaches. Now, this is a week from today, so we don't know if it's right, but it's something we do want to put on your radar as a possibility. The models are certainly trending this way. The trend has been towards a stronger low with a higher impact for our weather here across the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. Now, most people get their traveling out of the way by Christmas Eve night. Let me take off my drawing tool here. Here's Christmas Eve night, in other words, Christmas morning almost, 1 in the morning, Christmas morning. Our low is really cranking over here, 958 millibars, and this would just be a screaming west wind in eastern Ohio and western PA for Santa Claus Christmas morning. Now, I don't think this would be a big snow accumulation for us, but I think there would be snowflakes seen, snow showers, maybe even some lake enhancement going on. So anybody that lives up in Ashtabula County, Erie County, PA, Southwest New York, this could be a lake effect day on Christmas Day. Here's Christmas morning at 7 a.m. Strong westerly flow and snow showers around. So will this give us a white Christmas by the definition of an inch of snow on the ground? Don't know that yet, but I'm pretty confident we're going to see some snow Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Hopefully it doesn't cause too many travel headaches. And boy, hang on to your Santa Claus hats, because it is going to be a very windy Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Now, this is just one model. This is the GFS, but I can tell you that the European looks reasonably similar, and so our confidence tends to increase when those two models in the longer range are seeing a similar tune. We're going to iron out the details, certainly over the next week. But while the weekend storm is a miss, I don't think next week's storm is a miss, and it could be a modestly high impact, or a moderately high impact kind of an event for right around Christmas. All right, long range temperatures, been honking about how cold it's going to get at the end of the year. Here's the GFS Ensemble outlook for the 27th, so the weekend after Christmas, through New Year's morning, the 1st. This is a 10 to 15 day outlook, in other words. A lot of greens here, and if my face is covering the legend, I apologize, but generally that's 3 to 5 below average for the 5-day period, and that's fairly significant. I think we're going to see a lot of highs in the middle and upper 20s for Christmas to New Year's that week. That means lows will probably be in the teens some of the time, so we're kind of heading back towards the kind of pattern that's a little more typical of the season, instead of all this mild and snow-free weather that we've had so far in December. Well, that's the Wednesday weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11, and a fresh Weather Geeks will be posted, as always, Thursday afternoon around 2:30, 3 o'clock.